Ethan slammed his phone shut, the deal unfinished, his breath catching when he realized the front gate was swinging open. "Where's Lily?" he shouted, his voice slicing through the morning air. His wife, Grace, stumbled down the steps, panic streaking her face. "She's not inside. Ethan, she's gone." They both froze when they saw her. Their 6-year-old daughter stood perfectly still on the sidewalk, staring up at a man in orange coveralls. He was kneeling down, a blue trash bag resting at his side, his gloves dusty, helmet tilted back. A garbage man, the kind Ethan usually walked past without a second thought. "Hey there, princess," the man said gently, crouching so his eyes met Lily's. He didn't flinch at her silence, didn't press, just smiled like he had all the time in the world. Lily's lips trembled, her eyes wide. Then, for the first time in her life, she giggled. The sound was light, fragile, like glass catching sunlight. Ethan grabbed his head in disbelief. "Lily," his voice cracked. Don't bother him. Come here." But she didn't move. She tilted her head, curious, as if the stranger was holding some secret no one else knew. The man tapped the trash bag beside him. "You know what this is? Heavy stuff. Like secrets." He grinned. "But if you open it, let it out, it feels lighter." Grace's hand clutched Ethan's arm so tightly it hurt. Her whisper trembled. "Look, she's listening." For years, therapists, doctors, specialists from every corner of the country had tried. They had promised, diagnosed, and failed. Lily's voice was fine, they all said. She could speak. She just didn't. Not a single mama. Not one papa. Not even a hello. And yet here she was, leaning closer to a man who smelled faintly of diesel and earth, her eyes alive, her laughter echoing down the street. The next day, she waited by the gate. And the next, every morning, the garbage truck rumbled down the street, and every morning Lily was there, waiting for him. She clapped when he lifted bins, pointed at his gloves, grinned at the silly way he pretended to stumble. She began leaving things for him on the curb, flowers she plucked from the yard, shaky crayon drawings, even one of her marbles. Grace finally approached him one morning, her voice soft, unsure. "I don't even know your name." "Jack," he said simply, brushing dirt from his gloves. "Jack Turner." Ethan stiffened, stepping forward. "Mr. Turner, my daughter needs professionals, not stories from a stranger." Jack just shrugged, his eyes twinkling. Maybe she doesn't need someone who expects anything. He crouched again, speaking to Lily like she was the only person in the world. "Hey, princess, you wouldn't believe it. Yesterday, a raccoon tried to climb into the truck. Nearly scared me half to death." Lily's laugh rang out again, her shoulders shaking. Grace pressed her hand over her mouth, tears pooling. "Ethan," she whispered, "she's never reacted like this." Ethan turned away, muttering, "This is insane." 6 years of silence, and she's bonding with a garbage man. Grace's voice broke. "Do you have any idea how many nights I've begged for this? For her to let someone in? I don't care who he is. Look at her." Lily leaned close to Jack, her lips parting. For a second, Ethan thought he imagined it, the faintest shape of a word forming on her mouth. She didn't speak, not yet, but her eyes shone with something new, something terrifyingly close. Jack only smiled, patient as ever, like he knew one day she would. Ethan Collins sat at the edge of Lily's bed, his tie still hanging loose around his neck. Grace brushed a strand of hair from their daughter's forehead, her voice trembling. "Do you think we've been wrong this whole time?" Ethan's chest rose and fell with a heavy sigh. "Wrong how? We keep treating her silence like it's something broken, like a problem to fix. Maybe she just needs to feel safe." He had no answer, but the words struck deep. For years, he had tried to buy solutions, therapists, doctors, flights to clinics across the country. But what Grace said now clung to him long into the night. The next morning, Ethan did something he hadn't done in years. He put his phone in a drawer, ignored his waiting driver, and held his daughter's hand as they walked out the front gate together. Her fingers felt smaller, warmer, as though she trusted him in a way he hadn't earned before. When Jack Turner arrived in his orange uniform, hauling bins toward the truck, Ethan didn't glare or wave him off. He simply nodded. "Morning." Jack raised a brow. "Morning, Mr. Collins." Lily let go of her father's hand and ran toward him. Jack crouched low with a grin. "Princess, you won't believe it. I almost lost my glove in a bin today. Thought I'd be digging through trash all morning. Lily clapped her hands, her laugh spilling out, bright and silent as a song. Ethan's throat tightened, and before he realized what he was doing, he crouched down beside Jack. Lily, guess what? Once I nearly lost my tie in a revolving door at the hotel. Got stuck for 10 minutes. Everyone in the lobby saw. Lily's eyes widened, darting between the two men. Then she burst into giggles again, her face glowing. Ethan froze. All these years, he had never thought to tell her stories, only to demand results. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the Collins home filled with new sounds. Not Lily's words, not yet, but laughter, bedtime stories, gentle songs. Ethan read to her at night, not because he thought it might fix her, but because he wanted to share the joy of stories. Grace sang while brushing her hair, her voice soft and steady. They stopped waiting for words like miracles. Instead, they began cherishing the giggles, the nods, the way Lily's eyes lit up when someone listened. One warm evening, Lily tugged at Ethan's sleeve as they sat together on the porch. She pointed up at the sky, where stars dotted the night. Beautiful, Ethan whispered. Do you like them? She nodded, eyes glimmering. You don't have to say anything, he said, though his chest ached with longing. He wanted to hear her voice at least once, but he forced himself to let go. The breakthrough came unexpectedly, on an ordinary afternoon. Jack was finishing his route when Lily ran across the lawn, clutching a paper in her hand. She handed him a crayon drawing, a stick figure in orange beside a stick figure in pink. Above them, a lopsided sun beamed. Jack chuckled. Is this me? She nodded eagerly. And this is you? Another nod. And what's this? He asked, pointing to the sun. Lily's lips parted. At first, nothing. Then, a whisper, soft and shaky. Happy. The world seemed to stop. Ethan's knees buckled, tears blurring his vision. Lily, did you just? Grace gasped, her hands over her mouth. Jack didn't cheer or push her. He only smiled gently, like he had always known this moment would come. That's right, princess. Happy. Lily tried again, her voice stronger this time. Happy. Ethan pressed his palms to his face, his shoulders shaking. Thank you, God. Thank you. From that day forward, their lives shifted. Lily didn't suddenly chatter endlessly. Her words came slowly, shy and deliberate, like tiny blossoms breaking through the soil after a long winter. Sometimes weeks passed with only one new word, but every sound was a miracle. One night, she whispered "Mama" against Grace's shoulder. Another evening, she leaned against Ethan and whispered "Papa." Each time, their hearts cracked open wider. Ethan no longer measured his life in contracts signed or towers built. He measured it in the way Lily's laughter filled the air, in the way her voice, however soft, began to grow. One evening, as Lily drifted to sleep, Grace whispered, I used to pray for her first word. Now I just pray she never loses that smile. Ethan kissed his daughter's forehead, tears sliding silently down his cheeks. She doesn't need to fill this house with words. She already filled it with life. Weeks later, Jack finished his shift and stopped by the gate. Ethan walked out, reached for his hand, and shook it firmly. His voice was steady, but his eyes brimmed with emotion. You gave us something no amount of money could buy? Not words. Hope. Thank you. Jack shrugged with a small smile. All I did was listen. As the truck rumbled away, Ethan watched Lily twirling barefoot in the grass, her dress billowing in the sunlight. She wasn't broken. She wasn't lost. She was just Lily. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt lighter than any empire could make him. He whispered under his breath as his daughter spun with laughter. Sadness will always be there. But today, happiness is louder.